What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered with Lily Simone. As you guys can see, I got me some new hair. I hope y'all like my new hair. Today we're gonna be talking about adulthood, change, and all of those things because I feel like we need to start being serious about our goals and making plans on how to do so and how to even get through the failing part of it. So if you guys want to hear the rest of this conversation, make sure you watch the video from the front to the back. And this is Unfiltered with Lily Simone. Let's figure out what in the world can we do to like help this transition move forward, right? Make a list of the things that you want to do. Always make a list of the things that you want to do just so you can kind of get it in your mind and pinpoint exactly what you want. I'm always make a list. Make a list. Make a list, make a list, make a list. Make a list. Because I feel like when I do that, I can actually see what I want to do on paper, and it's like, all right, cool, I got a lot to work on, but at least I can see it for myself what exactly I want, right? And then from there, you have to start figuring out what everyday practices you have to take to get to that goal, right? So if I want a car, I gotta go to work. If I go to work, I make money. But if I make money, I gotta save the money. And when I save the money, I gotta have a plan on how much I'm gonna use to save for the car and how much is gonna go to the rest of my everyday life, needs. So you have to plan. You definitely have to plan, and that is very, very, very important. Please make a plan. And as you're going through, your changes and things, keep a journal. I always say keep a journal, but keep a journal because I want you to take record of the changes you have made, the changes that you haven't just yet, the difficulty, the empowerment, so you can motivate yourself again and figure out what motivates you best. For me, I feel like affirmations always get me back on track. Reading my Bible or watching a sermon on YouTube. There's dumb by dumb I mean more motivational speakers always on YouTube. Like, I don't know why, but Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey, those two to me really have really good like inspirational interviews and videos, basically because if you know, especially like Oprah Winfrey's story, she came from zero. So to see that she has made it as far as she has, to the point where she has her own network and tons of other business endeavors beyond her TV show that she once had, is really inspiring. In the fact that you can start from zero if you keep working and you put yourself in the right places and you hold yourself accountable. And I'm learning that I'm gonna have to do those things in order to get what I want at this point, because it's just me and me at the end of the day. Like, my family is here, but I don't want to bank on them. I don't want to depend on them because I want to genuinely say, I did this by myself. I'm proud of myself. In the same way I can give myself things, they can be taken away, like on my terms though. And that's what I want for myself. And I have some encouraging words for you guys as always, because we gotta stay motivated together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it for you. So this is my little notebook. I got this from a church that I was visiting in New Orleans with my boo. And I love the church because the message that was given, I really did like it because it was real, and I think it's really applicable to adulthood and our transition and everything like that. And if you don't believe in God, these messages are still valid regardless of your religion. So it's worth listening to. But this was on October 1st, 2023. And I took my notes, and it said, God puts us on pause, but life is full. Oh my God. God puts us on pause, but life is full of waiting moments. But waiting can be a part of receiving a blessing. So The example that he used was like, you know, when you put in a job application, you have to wait to get the date for the interview. And once you get the interview, assuming that it goes well, you have to wait for the news to see whether or not you got the job. And in that waiting, once you get the good news, you understand that you had to wait to get good news. You feel me? Like, that's what he was saying. And I feel like that's very important and very valid. Like, sometimes the things that we want, we do have to wait for them to get here. We have to be patient with ourselves and the world, because everything doesn't happen at the drop of a dime. And that's real. Like, you know, we can't just expect things to fall out of the sky. Even though we pray hard, we manifest, we affirm, we do all these things, but we have to be patient and allow things to happen in God's timing, because maybe some of the stuff that we want, we're not mature or ready for just yet, and we have to wait. Another one he said was, God will pause your life to help you rearrange some things, but when he resumes, you've missed nothing. And I think that is very true. Like, sometimes you gotta stop to see yourself. Like, I realized when I went from LA to here that it's slow down here. Like, it's so slow. Like, it's so many things to do in LA. Out here, it's not like that. But don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about BR. I'm saying all that to say that I didn't realize what type of adjustments I needed to make until I stopped moving. I didn't realize that I do have anxiety that I need to address and do things to take the steps to kind of like conquer that. And I realized as I was slowing down that I have things that I need to work on with my personality traits. Like, when I met my boyfriend, like, I realized like he's very patient, he's very sweet, and I will go off on him. I will go off. And truth be told, some of those times I went off, it had nothing to do with him. And I had to realize, like, that's not okay. Like, that's not acceptable. I shouldn't be letting him, you know, catch the blow for personal things that I haven't dealt with myself from my past. And I feel like after coming to that realization, I'm starting to become a little bit more aware of how I talk to him and what triggered me to act the way I do when it comes down to certain predicaments, because deep down I'm scared of being in a relationship, but I'm in one. And I have to realize that you can't do that. Like, obviously you're in it, so you have to do things to make this beneficial for both parties. You can't just, you know, say, oh my gosh, like, I had emotional trauma, don't do nothing about it. That's not gonna work, right? So I had to realize, basically, to come out here and basically do a little bit of nothing to understand, like, Layla, you got work to do. And it's not just, oh, you need to get a job or you need to apply for this internship. No, you need to get your head together and realize that, for one, you're grown. For two, you're responsible for your own success. And for three, if you have emotional stuff you need to deal with, it is your job to do the work to work it out. Like, there's no way you can be some type of psychologist, counselor, therapist, and you have your own life that you never addressed yourself. It just doesn't add up. So I had to realize, like, yes, sometimes doing nothing is the answer. Like, don't think it's not. Let's keep going. Sometimes in that pause, it might feel bad, but it's for the good and it's not permanent. Like, sometimes I feel like when we get into these pauses, we think that we're worthless or we're not being productive or we're not moving forward, but we are, though. Like, we're moving forward. We're just doing it in a way that isn't as bold and crazy as we thought it should have been. I think he hears me talking about him. Whoa, he called me on 444. It's 444 right now. Let me see what this man wants. I feel like I've been recording this video for like so long because I keep stopping and starting, but it's okay. I'm gonna keep going. Don't make a permanent decision based off of a pause moment, right? So basically he's saying, like, you know, just because you're sitting doesn't mean that it's bad and that maybe you should go a different direction. Maybe you need that break, you need that pause, but that doesn't mean that you need to relocate or do something else that may hinder, your blessing at the end of the day. So knowing when to pause and just be okay with that pause is very important, because at the end of the day, we need that, right? He told me this, and I really think this is true. If you leave some room for God, God will make room for you. I feel like we can't just keep, and whatever it is, whatever you believe in, like, make sure that you're making time for that, like, to recenter. Because sometimes when we're working, we lose touch with ourselves. And I feel like I just told my man that, like, bro, when I was younger, I had this like fire in me to just do everything. And then I don't know if it was because I got to college and I just was complacent with the fact that I was just going and I was doing what I was supposed to do, and that was that. And I just didn't want to go farther than that or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I was sitting on my hands. But I realized it was because I was imbalanced. Like, I just was not feeling it. Like, no matter what I was doing, it wasn't enough. I didn't feel fulfilled. I had everything around me. I had money in my pockets, my family good with me, my car is good, I got somewhere to live. I got 2 places to live out here for real. Like, what is your issue? Like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with you? And I realized it was because I felt imbalanced. I didn't have anything to make me feel fulfilled, and I was going to church. I was either, doing sermons, watching them on the TV. I realized, sometimes going long periods of time without calling my family would make me feel away. Like, I need to be balanced. So when you make room for God, your family, your friends, whoever it is that makes you feel whole, that is when you will finally be able to achieve the things that you want, because you're balanced. And if you're balanced, I feel like mentally you're stable enough to conquer the things you want to conquer. So please make sure that you're making room for God, your family, your friends, the people that support you most, because during this time you're gonna need that encouragement to keep going, because there's gonna be some times where you'll see some things that make you feel like you didn't make it, or you failed, or any of those things. And you didn't fail, and sometimes your friends and your family and God will be the people that are gonna make you understand that you're loved regardless if you do well, if you don't, if you win, if you lose. We're still here, and He's still here. So I think that figuring that out is probably gonna be one of the key things to conquering adulthood and those challenges at the end of the day. But yeah, basically, I feel like that was all I had to talk to y'all about today. Just about change, taking those steps, to move forward in life, because I feel like we got this. Like, we got this. It's literally finna be us. Like, I'm finna start using this podcast not only as like, a little therapy session, if you want to call it that, but more of just like, being real. Like, life is not the easiest, and you have to encourage yourself to move forward, but you have to figure out what motivates you most and use that to your strength. And when you fail, hug yourself, like, for real. Like, it's all right. Like, I'm young, I messed up right here, and if you did everything you could and it still didn't work out, maybe you need to go back to the drawing board, and that's okay. But just know that we are in this together. We're gonna work on it, and please feel free to go ahead and DM me at Layla Simone. I'm the psych baddie. I'm always gonna talk to you guys, and we're gonna get through this. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like on the video so I understand that you guys are enjoying these videos, and to see me more, because every time you guys subscribe, I get on the suggested page. So as long as I'm suggested, you guys will see me. So please make sure to leave a like, make sure you subscribe. And I'm gonna see you guys on the next episode of Unfiltered with Layla Simone.